All right, guys. So we're coming back with the first from the bench. I'm pointing at the toolbox that you guys are sitting on video, and this one is going to be kind of going over, the things that happen when you buy a Harley, the things that you're going to kind of be presented with when you buy a Harley, the things that I was presented with when I bought my Harley, and what's expected of you. And I alluded in a previous post, some notes and some information so that I give you guys the most accurate things I can give you. I don't like spreading rumors, and I don't like spreading opinions. I'm going to give you the facts first, and and as we go into these maintenance things, as you mature in your maintenance in your own motorcycle, right there, then you're going to develop your own things in the own ways that you like to do things. But let me grab my notes here and let's get started. Let's say you go to your Harley dealer, your local Harley dealer, and you purchase your brand new Harley Davidson. All right. Mine wasn't brand new. It was 7 or 8 years old when I bought it, but it had 912 miles on it when I bought it. So the 1K service came into play. But you buy your brand new Harley Davidson, they're going to do your paperwork, do your financing. You're going to get to meet the people, meet the crew. Anyone that's bought a Harley from a dealer knows how this goes. Then you go from station to station. You're going to go to your merch station first. They're going to give you your free shirts, and they're going to give you your first Gremlin bell. Normally, that's the way my dealership does it. This is after you leave the finance office and you're done. You're on the bike, right? And then after you get your merch and your baggie full of goodies for free, they're going to send you to the service department. Typically, this is the way my dealer does it locally here in the city that I live in. The service advisor, or the service manager, I should say, is going to go over what's expected and what you need to do to take care and maintain your motorcycle. Those services are going to begin at the 1K service. That's 1,000 miles. And they are not free. The 1K services are technically not free. But some dealers will, to sweeten the deal, or if you're buying a used bike that's a few years old and it's close to 1,000, but it's not over 1,000 yet, they'll include it in the sale just because of the way that the used bike market works. Some dealers will include that 1K service, especially if it's a smaller, less expensive bike to maintain or to service, in order to sweeten the deal. But they expect you to come back in 1,000 miles and do the 1K service. Now, what this is, when Harley puts the bike together, puts the engine together, and preliminarily runs it at the factory, they'll do a preliminary burn-in, which basically means they're just going to run it for a specific amount of time to make sure there's no noises, there's nothing loose, there's nothing going to happen to it. And it's preliminarily, I can't even say that word, we'll break in the rings. We'll seat the rings to the cylinder walls and all that. And now when you get your bike, especially if it's new and it's got 0 miles or 2 miles or whatever on it, they're going to explain to you some procedures in order to finish the break-in, to get past the preliminary, there you go, break-in, and get into the real break-in. It's typically, you don't want to go over a certain RPMs. You don't want to maintain, the door's closing. Let me turn the light on. And hopefully it doesn't blast the camera out. Let me see. Well, you can see it over my head, but it's not terrible. We'll roll with it. I'm still learning, guys. But you're going to go past this preliminary break-in. I'm looking at the time. I want to make sure my camera's running too. I normally wear glasses, but you guys can see the reflection of the ring light in the glasses. I don't know if it's awkward or not. I'll just leave them on so I can see better. But once you do this, they're going to expect you now. Typically speaking, what does the 1K service cost? Now, I looked up averages of this. Now, every dealer is going to be different. No two dealers are the same. And no two bikes, well, no two bike types are the same, I should say. The smaller the bike and the less things they have to take off to be able to do these checks and balances, the less it's going to cost, because most of what you're paying for with the 1K service is labor. You're paying the mechanics or the bike tech's labor rate for him to check all these. It's a long list of things to check. I'm pulling out my manual. I'm going to lay it up here because I'm going to go over my specific 1K service in the video that pertains to Sportsters, XL Sportsters. Okay. So average price nationwide, I looked it up and I calculated and blah, 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 is anywhere from $400 to $600 for the 1K service. $400 to $600, and it can go up to as high as $800 in some areas, depending on the motorcycle. If you've got a big Ultra that's got all the Tour Pack stuff on it and everything like that, and all that stuff has to come off because it impedes being able to check fasteners or critical fasteners or whatever, you're going to have to pay to have those things taken off so they can check the stuff, and then they got to put it back on. So anywhere from $400 to $600 at the dealers, right? Up to $800 depending on the model. Now, that's not set in stone. And some of the bikes like this one, the XL Sportster, especially the stripped down one, that's an Iron 883. It's as bare as you can get. I mean, you might get that for $200 to $300 because there's nothing really much on here that they have to remove to check things. But there you go. So what is it looking for in the 1K service? And we're paying labor mostly, right? Because it does include an oil change, because the engine oil that it ships with from the factory is a break-in type of oil. So it needs to come out after 1,000 miles. You don't want to overwear things. You want it to break in properly, and then you want it out of there. So what they're looking for at the 1K service, and if you can pony up, if you can afford to do it, I would never pay someone to work on my motorcycle. That's just me. Okay? But if you can pony it up and you can afford to do it, it takes hassle-free things out, and you can, they can check to make sure everything happened correctly, and it's all documented with your dealer, right? In case of a warranty issue. I'm going to cover that here in a minute. All right. So what they're looking for is, and what the service is basically, is engine break-in inspection to ensure that it was broken in properly. They're going to drain the oil. That's a break-in oil. Typically, that first oil change with that special break-in type of oil, you're going to get a glitter party. You're going to get, I mean, some people might drain that and think something's wrong. That's normal. They're not looking for glitter. They're looking for a large amount of glitter, and then they may be looking for pieces that shouldn't come out. Okay. But that's what they're looking for, to make sure that the engine was broken in properly and then that break-in went well. They're going to check belts, the drive belt, obviously, hoses, the brake hoses, obviously. We're not talking about cars here. Seal and seals for proper break-in. They're going to check fasteners and tighten after the break-in. A lot of these fasteners are torqued from the factory. They will work their way loose during break-in. The bike tends to vibrate more during break-in. That's got that weird oil in there. Things, if they're going to work loose, they tend to work loose before the 1K service. A lot of times they're not loose, but they're supposed to check them because it can become a safety issue if it's a critical fastener. We're going to cover that, and that's the next thing on my punch list here that I wrote down. Check critical fasteners. I'm going to cover critical fasteners in another video in the maintenance series, because those need to be by themselves. It's a big thing. They're going to check the tire condition and ensure that the tires had it broken in properly. There is a break-in for the tires too. They come with this slick thing from the factory. I tend to take a little 1,000 grit sandpaper and I'll scuff my tires up before I hit the road, kind of pre-break them in a little bit, but typically you would just ride those in and they would break in properly. But they want to make sure that that's happened properly too, and that you hadn't been out abusing the bike, like looking for burnouts and stuff like that. The next question is, Do I have to pay the dealer to do this? There's a couple of things I want to go over here. If you choose to do this service yourself, and you are allowed to, you can do it yourself. But everything that you do, I would keep written records, I would keep documentation, I would keep receipts. I would even go so far as to go to your local dealer and buy the oil and the filter and everything you're going to do, and just let them know, I'm going to do the knock out the 1K service on my thing. So at least just documented that you went and bought the supplies from them. Anything's going to help. Any dealer, this is where this comes in. Any dealer, whether this is car industry, motorcycle industry, they cannot void your warranty for you doing your own service, even if you don't use their parts. It's just easier, in my opinion, to go and buy the supplies from them. That way it's documented in their computer that you bought the stuff from them, right? But there was a law passed, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, in July 4th of 1975. It's a long time ago. In a lot of aspects of life, this is useless. It's not enforced. The only place I've seen that it is enforced is in the automotive and the motorcycle industry. It's because companies like Nissan of America and several other things, I've been an ASE certified mechanic since 1998, so I can speak on this. But Nissan of America, in several cases, even up to recently, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, their dealers nearly got them in a gigantic, huge, ugly lawsuit because they were telling these customers that they had to come back to Nissan to have their car serviced or their warranty was void. Well, the courts went even further in the 80s and said, not only can you not do that, but if you force your customers to do that, you have to provide said service and materials at no charge. It went away real fast. You can't go and talk to an old head Nissan guy and have him even talk about it. They don't even want to remember that it happened. It's kind of like the Firestone recall. They want to just forget that it ever happened and move on. They can't void your warranty because of that act from 1975, because you work on your bike yourself. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that you get to modify your motorcycle or cut things up or do things improperly and break it and they cover it. Because if you've changed things, and it's one thing we all do, it's called the Harley tax: seat, exhaust, and handlebars. It's the first thing I did, even though those were different on the bike when I got it. Exhaust, seat, handlebars, right? Even some dealers in that aspect, unless you buy Screaming Eagle parts and the dealer installs it, will void your warranty because it's not factory equipment. Maintenance is a factory thing that is required by the factory to make sure that your motorcycle runs good and to make sure that that you can keep things above board, I guess you should say, for the warranty. Just to kind of go a step further, and just to kind of prove, you're sitting on the toolbox that it's in my shop now at home because I'm retired. I don't work on cars anymore. But I've got about 3 of these. I'm not tooting horns, I'm just saying. And this is going to lead into what I'm fixing to talk about. I got about 3 of these. I've got the patches still. I ripped them all off my uniform. I paid for those patches. They're mine. If you don't feel comfortable servicing your motorcycle, especially the 1K service, because the 1K service is the snapshot that everything worked okay and you're good to go for the regular service intervals. If you don't feel comfortable servicing your motorcycle, especially the 1K, you might want to pony up to go pay the dealer to do it, just to ensure it's done right. But I will tell you this, it's not hard. There's a lot of information online, and any bike, any year model, go online right now, if you own a bike, and buy this. Don't buy the Haynes manual, don't buy any. This is the official Sportster models of 2010, my bike's a 2010, from Harley, from the motor company. This bike was $69. book, not bike. This book was $69. It's invaluable. Everything you need to know in here to rebuild this motorcycle is in this book. So if you have this book for your particular motorcycle and just a little bit of patience and a few tools, you can do the 1K service yourself. It's not hard at all. Let me see here. Maintenance schedule. I'm going to go over this real quick and I'm going to try and wrap it up. We're already 16 minutes. I like to talk though. And some of you guys like to learn things. So I'm going to teach if I can. Things that are covered in my specific 1K service. It's pretty similar through all of them. Some bikes have more features than others. This is my particular one, the 2010. I'm guessing it'd be like 08 to 2012 Iron 883 XL Sportster. The 1K service consists of we're changing the oil in the filter. That is also going to include when the oil's drained, we need to be looking into that oil to make sure that there's nothing that's abnormal. Small amount of glitter in there from the break-in, that's normal. Anything else other than that, it needs to go to the dealer to be looked at, right? We're going to inspect the oil lines and the brake system to make sure that the pads look good, the rotors look good, there's no weird streaks on the rotors, that the break-in went well on those, there's no squeaking, right? The hoses and all are in good shape, the brake hoses. We're going to be inspecting the tires, right? Just want to make sure there's no nicks, cuts, and no cupping, like the break-in went right, okay? Transmission lubricant on Sportsters, old XL Sport, or even the new one. The new one may be all 1K, so I don't know. But on XL Sportsters, it was engine oil and primary and transmission oil. Primary and transmission's the same thing. We'll be changing that out too, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drain the primary fluid, and we're going to look to see what comes out. Small amount of glitter's fine. A little bit of metal shavings on the magnet is fine. Other than that, it needs to go to the dealer, right? We're going to check the adjustment on the clutch. It will be out of adjustment. When they break in, when the steels and the fibers wear down, it will go out of adjustment. Bank on that. Everything in this book, everything you need to adjust the clutch, to check it and adjust it, is in this book. Every model's different. I don't want to go over each one, and I don't want to give it to you. I want you to read your manual, because it's in there and it's not hard. We're going to check and adjust the primary chain. It's going to be out of adjustment because it's breaking in. That primary chain is going to wear in pretty significantly over the first 10,000 miles until the shoe for the adjuster gets grooved and the rollers of the chain start hitting those grooves and it settles in, and the chain itself is going to stretch. You got to keep up with that. It will cause you problems in the future if you're not careful. Drive belt and sprockets. That's just basically, there's a procedure in here to check the overall tension of the drive belt. It's going to stretch into place, and you will likely have to do an adjustment. Typically, once you get beyond that, really, you don't have to worry about it. You have to do the tire again. It says to do that, but I don't. So you use your own judgment on that one. Jiffy stand. That's what Harley calls the kickstand. We're just basically going to check to make sure it's all in good shape. It's functioning right. There's nothing cracked or messed up with it. Make sure that everything's tight on it if there's fasteners on it. Fuel lines and fittings. That's just a visual inspection. Run your hand over it. Nothing leaking. Nothing cracked. Nothing fraying. We're good to go. All right. Brake pads and discs. We already talked about that. Spark plugs. We're just inspecting them at 1K. There's only 1,000 miles on them. We just want to make sure there's not a problem in the fuel maps. In your manual, it'll show you, it'll explain to you the color variations you're looking for. We just don't want it to be bone white, which is extremely lean, and that can be damaging. And we don't want it to be fluffy and black completely, like furry, because that can be way too rich. We want it to be burning correctly. It'll explain in your manual how to read that plug. Let's see. Electrical equipment switches, that's just basically like a T-clocks check. You're going through and checking all the lights, checking the turn signals, checking the hazard lights, checking the high and low beams, checking the horn, the standard stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. There is steering head bearings. They say to check these at 1,000. I don't see how the steering head bearings could, that's fall away for the front end. Look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't see how that could get loose. It's on the list, so you should probably check it. I did, but you should probably check it just to make sure, right? The last couple of things here. The last thing here is critical fasteners. That's another video. I'm going to go over just the critical fasteners, but those are critical, and they're critical fasteners because if those fasteners come loose, it can kill you. So those need to be scrutinized by the book. It's not hard, it's not scary. By the book, and you'll be fine. And the exhaust system. That's basically just doing a visual inspection of the heat shields. Maybe put a little socket in there and a small ratchet on the nuts on the cylinder heads just to make sure that the flanges are tight. It's nothing hard. It can be done easily. And that's pretty much it on this. And that's pretty much it for this video. The 1K service is important. In my opinion, the 1K service, if you were going to pay the dealer to do any of them, I would suggest going for the 1K service because it's going to give them a snapshot of the break-in process. They're going to document that in their documentation at the dealer, how the break-in went. So it's all, the motor company can pull those documents up and look at it, or the technician notes up and look at them. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do this. But after that, after the 1K service, when it's every 5, 10, some stuff's done at 20, some stuff's done at 15, some stuff's done every 5, you can do those all day. And once you learn and get comfortable with the critical fasteners, you don't have to worry about that either. You just want to scrutinize them very well. You want to scrutinize them, the safety aspect, critical fasteners, to make sure that you're good to go. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. We're at 22 minutes and I've yapped. I hope that I've expelled. I hope that I have given you guys some knowledge. Let me put it that way, since I can't get my words straight. I hope that I've given you guys some knowledge and demystified the 1K service just a little bit. It's expensive if you pay the dealer to do it, like I said, and maybe you can work it out with your particular dealer. Well, hey, man, you throw in the 1K service, I'll buy the bike. And some of them will do that. My particular dealership here that I bought my bike from, they're easy to work with. I don't work for them. To work with. And they threw in that service without even me asking, because it was a used bike, had 912 miles, 7 years old, had 912 miles on it. Hadn't even been ridden to the 1,000-mile mark yet. I've got about 13,000 on it now. But I'm going to get on down the road here. Keep an eye out. I got another video coming out talking on the new XL883. You guys saw a short about that. I made a short about it as soon as I saw the breaking news, and as soon as it was confirmed that it's going to happen, I wanted to jump on that bandwagon because I am a Sportster guy. Always have been. And we're going to be talking about that bike once my local dealer has one on the floor. I'm going to make sure I'm friends with a few of those guys down there, and hopefully they'll let me do a little blurb video on it, just kind of showcasing it. But I'll see you guys down the road. Next video coming up, critical fasteners. I'm going to talk about it, explain it, demystify the critical fastener aspect of every service that you have to check those on. Keep the greasy side down, ride often, all the time. See you guys down the road.